Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Network TV. I'm Imam Yaseen, Shaikh, and this is your daily hadith. It's narrated on the authority of Aisha radiallahu anha, who says that when the last 10 nights of Ramadan entered, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would tighten his waist belt, he would keep the nights alive, and he would wake up his family. This hadith has been narrated by Imam al-Bukhari. There's a few lessons to learn from this hadith. The first is Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, describing his ibadah and worship at night time. There's nobody who knows his habits better than his wife. So she's saying that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would make extra effort in the final 10 nights of Ramadan. What else we learn from this hadith is that every single moment in Ramadan is blessed, and we should exert ourselves in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at every given moment, every opportunity that we have, and more so in the month of Ramadan. Which brings me to another point, that the final 10 nights of Ramadan are known for Laylatul Qadr. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was given the knowledge of Laylatul Qadr, but the knowledge was withdrawn when he witnessed two people fighting. Multiple things to learn from this. The first being that quarreling and fighting and disputes can deprive us of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. But secondly, which is extremely important, is that Allah Azza wa Jal wants us to make the efforts. Allah did not give us the knowledge of Laylatul Qadr, otherwise as human beings naturally we would become complacent. Therefore we are to exert ourselves and make that extra effort in the final 10 nights of Ramadan. Now going back to the hadith, Aisha radiallahu anha says that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would tighten his waist belt. This is a metaphor for making efforts and extra efforts. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not only do that, but he would stay up the majority of the night, and he would prioritize his family's well-being and their salvation too. He wasn't only thinking about his Jannah and his paradise, but he was thinking about taking his family along with him. Therefore Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would make it a point to wake up his family during those nights, so they can also gain from the blessings of the month of Ramadan. Now it's also important to note that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's closest servant and most beloved, did not have to exert himself so much in the last 10 nights of Ramadan or any time of the year, since he had no sin. However, in one hadith he mentions that I do so I can be a thankful servant to my Lord. Now this brings me to another point, which is our ibadah and our worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to show gratitude for everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. For we are benefiting from his favors day and night at every single moment. There is not a time of a day that we do not benefit from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's favors. Just the ni'mah and the blessing of breathing, inhaling and exhaling itself, is a great ni'mah and a favor from Allah that we can never repay. If we were to try and make dhikr and repay Allah for every single favor of his, we would be in ibadah all the time, in servitude all the time. However, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed us small steps and small ways for us to really benefit and for us to repay Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his favors. Which brings me to another point, which is that ibadah is the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we as human beings naturally crave and naturally incline towards, because we recognize that we have a supreme creator who brought us into existence and brought us into this life. And he blesses us with everything. And because of his majesty, his glory, his power, his might, his knowledge, and because of his creativity and all of his wonderful attributes, he alone is worthy of worship. Therefore Allah calls us towards his worship in the Quran. O mankind, worship your Lord who created you and created those before you, so that you can be God-fearing. It's important that we also worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with love. For worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with love gives rise to hope, so that we are hopeful that Allah ta'ala will shower his mercy upon us. Now I want to end with just sharing one practical advice, which is that how can we implement this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It's easy, it's simple. At night time, after Taraweeh, let's try to get some sleep so that we can wake up at a good time before suhoor. Let's make a habit of waking up about an hour before. Maybe it's not possible for us to stay up all night because we have busy schedules, we have work and we have different obligations, but we can dedicate at least one night to worship. However, we can also think that these are the last 10 nights of Ramadan, and this is the time of the year that I really need to exert myself. So even if we deprive ourselves of a little bit of sleep, it's worth it in the long run because of the hasanat and the blessings that we gain from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another dua that I want to end with, Aisha radiallahu anha was taught by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that when the last 10 nights of Ramadan come, specifically Laylatul Qadr, read this dua: Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Oh Allah, you are the one who overlooks, You don't just forgive, but you overlook, meaning you just completely ignore that I committed these sins, and you love to forgive, therefore forgive me. Thank you for watching Muslim Network TV's Your Daily Hadith. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak.